Welcome to the Calvin Christian School Senior Secondary Parent Information virtual event. We're looking forward to sharing more with you about what Calvin Christian School has to offer, about the ways that we support students through their 11 and 12 program, and importantly, what it means to belong to a transformational Christian learning community. We are on Facebook Live and YouTube, and we'd encourage you to leave comments and questions, and we'll be responding to those. I'd also encourage you to go to the Calvin website to check out our Senior Secondary Handbook. Right now, I'm keen to share more with you about Christian education and what it means to belong to a Christian school. Christian schools provide opportunities for their students to be equipped for life in an environment that nurtures them as individuals, and not just the physical being, but physically, emotionally, mentally and spiritually. And it's that spiritual dimension that is so significant. It's those Christian values that inform our practice, that drive our teaching staff, and ultimately get expressed through all aspects of our curriculum. So as a parent coming into a Christian school, there are so many positives in terms of the ways that they can connect with the life of their child, to see their child grow and nurtured and be an environment where they are connected and valued for who they are and for the potential that is in them. We would say that we bring another dimension. That is that sense of spirit again, that spiritual dimension. Because out of our understanding of God and our relationship with Him grows a sense that maths matters, and it matters to God. History matters, and it matters to Him. And in fact, He's at the core of these. So our schools were established on the principle of partnership with parents. And so as a parent myself with children in Christian schooling, I see the incredible value of aligning our values that we express and are trying to develop in our children at home. As we get that dynamic of church and home and school speaking into the lives of our young people, we see incredible opportunity for growth and for transformation. I'm joined now by Bonnie Moroney, our Head of Secondary and Deputy Principal, and Stell Carmichael, our Head of Students. And they're going to share a little bit more about Calvin. So, Stell, just having seen that video on Christian education, I'd be interested in your thoughts in terms of how Calvin fosters and nurtures faith within our grade 11 and 12 students.
Absolutely. Calvin is a place where we encourage students and staff to explore ideas of faith just in the everyday. We encourage each other as we meet, we pray together, we read the Bible, and we really see Year 11 and 12 as a really exciting time for students to ask questions and for students to think about what their beliefs might mean in their everyday life. We celebrate faith, and we celebrate the many ways that we see God at work in our community.
Thanks, Stell. And maybe I could ask now, why is Year 11 and 12 so important for students?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Year 11 and 12 are such important years. I sometimes think of it in terms of education being like a race. And Year 11 and 12 are really the final stages, the final sprint to finish the race. Perhaps if it was a relay, we might see the baton being passed right at the start of the 100-metre line. And Year 11 and 12 is that exciting bringing together of so many years of hard work. And so the transition from Year 10 into Year 11 is really important. We want a smooth baton passover so that a student is really well set up to finish well. And just as a race, it wouldn't be a race without spectators cheering them on. At Calvin, we're a community that gathers around our 11 and 12 students to celebrate with them and to encourage them and to support them as they complete their race of education.
Thank you. Now, Bonnie, we know that retention rates for students through to grades 11 and 12, and in fact completion rates for students to grade 12s, statistically speaking in Tasmania are low compared to the national average. What does Calvin do to support the retention of students?
Yeah, look, I think that we have a really strong community of students in often a very small class environment, and that provides the accountability that's really important in Year 11 and 12. Students feel known, but also we have continuity from Year 10 onwards, which then also allows for that smooth transition into senior secondary, passing of the baton, as Still mentioned before. We do have really good retention rates here at Calvin, and we look at the fact that our Year 12s have around about 90% completion of TCE, which is a lot higher than the state average. Of our Year 12 graduates, around 80% achieve an ATAR, which is also really high, and the average ATAR that they achieve is 80, which again is really high. So we seem to be able to work together with students to keep them engaged in their study and then achieve really well at the end of their Year 12 studies here at Calvin.
Thanks, Bonnie. And is it Year 11 and 12 all about university entrance?
No, we, a number of students will see an ATAR as sort of what they're aiming for, but really students have a variety of pathways to finish their required years of schooling, which is at the end of Year 12. So some of our students will engage in an apprenticeship. We have a student who did Year 11 and this year is doing a full-time apprenticeship. We have several students who are doing school-based apprenticeships, which keeps them engaged in some subjects here at Calvin and some days in the workplace. We have students who are doing most of their studies at Calvin but also participating in university High Achievers program or the Connections program, such as object design, and some students doing VET Cert 3 courses through Calvin as well under the supervision of a teacher here. So there are a number of pathways to allow students to complete Year 12 as they're required to do.
Excellent, thank you. So having heard a little bit of information about Years 11 and 12 at Calvin, we'd now like to share some general information about the Tasmanian Certificate of Education and some of those acronyms that are commonly used around Years 11 and 12. And to do that, we have a video that we'd like to share with you now.
Many students find it difficult to get their heads around what they want to achieve by the end of Year 12 and how they'll prepare for the next step in their pathway, whether that's a job, apprenticeship, university or other courses. Now you may have heard us refer to some courses as TASC subjects. TASC stands for the Tasmanian Assessment Standards and Certification, which is the body that certifies the Tasmanian Certificate of Education, which we know as the TCE. TASC manages the courses, the assessment and delivery of all the courses that most Tasmanian students undertake in Years 11 and 12. At Calvin, we offer some of these courses to Year 10 students as well. There are 4 levels of TASC courses. Level 1 is the lowest level of complexity, and it can be a full year or a shorter course. We only offer these as needed at Calvin. Level 2 subjects are what we call non-pre-tertiary subjects. We offer these to Years 10, 11 and 12 as a standalone course or as a precursor to higher level courses. The higher level courses are Level 3 and 4 courses. These are known as pre-tertiary and they usually have an external assessment requirement such as an exam or a portfolio. They're offered to Year 11 and 12 students only. And Level 4s are the highest level that are usually reserved for Year 12 students doing the top maths or science subjects. And they're usually done by students who want to have a particular university goal in mind, such as medicine or engineering.
Most students will aim to achieve their TCE by the end of Year 12. To do this, you need to do 3 main things. Firstly, you need to demonstrate your literacy, numeracy and ICT competence. This is usually achieved through the completion of certain courses. These are outlined in the subject handbook, or, as the last resort, through doing what is known as the TIC test. Secondly, you need to complete a full program of senior secondary education and training at any level in order to gain 120 points. At Calvin, this is usually gained through successful completion of any 8 courses offered from Year 10 to 12. Most full year courses give 15 points, but many VET courses have higher points due to their larger size. By offering TASC courses in Year 10 at Calvin, we offer students an advantage in gaining their points over 3 years of study. Thirdly, you need to develop and review a learning pathway plan, which we usually do in Year 10 at Calvin. You will meet with the careers counsellor to prepare a plan for a study from years 10 to 12 and beyond.
Students wanting to go to university will often need more than their TCE. Many will need a TE score, which is then converted into an ATAR. This is where things can get a bit confusing. A TE, or a tertiary entrance score, is a score between 1 and 26 that students receive if they achieve a satisfactory achievement or higher in a task level 3 or 4 subject. The TE score is calculated by adding the 5 best subjects at the end of grade 12. A minimum of 3 are counted from year 12, and the other 2 are highest from either year 11 or 12. The TE score is then made into a percentile ranking known as an ATAR, or Australian Tertiary Admission Rank. The ATAR ranges between 0 and 99.95 and shows your rank compared with other year 12 students in Tasmania. For example, getting an ATAR of 80 means you have achieved equal or higher than 80% of year 12 school leavers in Tasmania. While some university courses have specific ATAR or subject requirements, these are not needed for all pathways. Many students don't need an ATAR because they don't intend on going to university directly after year 12. University admission can be gained through means other than ATAR for many courses, so it's important to check the requirements of particular courses of interest.
Well, we hope that's been a helpful introduction to some of the terms you'll encounter as you study in years 10, 11 and 12 at Calvin. If you're confused or have further questions, please make sure you download the Senior Secondary Course Handbook from our website. And if this doesn't answer your questions, feel free to contact me by email or phone. We look forward to helping you achieve your pathway goals at Calvin.
Welcome back. We are joined by 2 of our senior students, Isabel and Matt, who have come in to have a chat about life at Calvin. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're very welcome.
No worries. Now, I'll ask you guys just a few questions. Matt, starting with you, what do you enjoy about life at Calvin in grade 11 and 12?
I really enjoy the atmosphere and the culture. It's just, it's really good for it's a learning atmosphere.
Excellent.
I find, and it's just really friendly and easygoing.
Excellent. That's terrific to hear. How about you, Isabel? What is it that you enjoy?
I really enjoy all the leadership opportunities that we get, whether it be primary school, high school, sporting events, and I also really enjoy the relationships that we have with the teachers.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, look, Isabel, you're in year 11. Matt, you're year 12. Tell me a little bit about what is different in year 11 and 12 compared to the, years 7 to 10.
Much more freedom, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the teachers and the students just respect each other a lot more than they do in the younger years.
Yeah, excellent. Freedom is certainly something I think a lot of you guys look forward to.
Yeah.
Isabel, how about for you? What is different?
I find it different that we're in a class with not just our own grade,
Yep.
and the classes are a lot smaller, so there's more time to really get to know the people in your classes and build those relationships. So it's really
Excellent.
nice.
And, do you find that classes are really serious, or do you have, moments of fun in your classes as well?
There's certainly moments of fun.
Yeah, certainly. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's good.
And one more question. What advice would you guys give to someone who might be thinking about coming to Calvin for year 11 and 12 but maybe isn't sure? What would you tell them in terms of advice?
I reckon do your work, obviously.
Yeah,
Having overdue homework really sucks,
Yep.
as I can say from experience.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, just make friends, be nice to everyone.
Yeah. Excellent. And how about you, Isabel?
I would say it's a really nice and well thought about environment for learning, and it's really helpful for me, who's not I can't really self-direct myself, so there's always measures in place to help get the work done.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much to both of you for coming by today. It has been fantastic to hear about your experiences at Calvin. And if you have any questions or things that you would like to ask, please feel free to write them in the comments and we will try to address as many questions as we can.
For me, I think the thing that sets Calvin apart is the teachers, and having the smaller community really helps. So the teachers are able to put a lot of time and energy and I guess emotion into each of their students, and as an older student you really see that looking back how much they have invested and cared. So when I finish my schooling at Calvin Christian School, I'm planning to become a builder if I can, pick up a trade and see where that takes me. Spend a lot of time doing tech-based subjects which I've really enjoyed and learning skills that'll help me. At the end of year 10 we did work experience as part of year 10, that's what they encouraged us all to do, and for that I spent a week with a local builder. That really opened my eyes to it as a very possible occupation in the future. From that course I'm then going to be designing and then hopefully building a shack on our own property.
Yeah, so when I rock up to work, it's cold. You get to work, you see a massive pile of timber. Your attitude is, let's get it up, let's get it put together. I enjoyed doing woodworking, especially in high school. Tech drawing at school, tech at school, and woodworking. If I was talking to someone who was keenly interested in being a builder, I would say you need good attitude and really good effort into what you want to do. Well, the school being a Christian school that it is, I think that it instills in these students the way that we're designed and how God has made us to work diligently and to be respectful to our employers. It's good, it's rewarding, it's hard work, but you know, when you drive away from a job and you've seen a constructed wall frame, you can go, good job, well done.
Hi, I'm Rory, and when I leave Calvin, I want to be a builder.
Hi, I'm Anthony. I went to Calvin and I'm a builder.
Thanks for talking to me today, Mia and Joe. I'm really interested in hearing about your pathway. So just the subjects and the journey that you've been taking through senior schooling, because you both have quite an interesting story to tell. I thought it might be good for other people to hear that. Mia, do you want to tell us about your pathway from grade 10 to this point?
So in year 10 I decided to do ICT because I wasn't really entirely sure of what pathway I was hoping to get into, so I just decided to get my TICs. And then in year 11 I was more focused on becoming a nurse, so I was really interested in the health aspect, so I decided to do sports science English in case I needed to study on the mainland, maths just to get my TIC, and I did food, cooking, nutrition, so that led me into year 12 doing food and nutrition, which I found very interesting so far, and I've decided to do biology and health, which are also relevant to the area I was hoping to study. And I changed my mind. I want to be a paramedic, so I'm really set on that at the moment. And I've chosen all subjects science-based and health-based.
So your pathway actually allowed you flexibility in changing your mind.
Yeah, I think that was really important in choosing my subjects, just to have room to move, because I think in year 10 you're not really entirely sure what you want to do, and your mind changes so many times.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thanks, Mia. What about you, Joe? What's your pathway? You've got quite an interesting, different one than the norm, don't you?
Yes, I do have quite an interesting and rather complicated pathway, as I'm starting to find out. I think for me, my pathway was all about giving myself as many options as I possibly could going into the future, because I'm still not really sure what I want to do with the rest of my life once I kind of finish school and the apprenticeship that I'm doing part-time.
So you do your apprenticeship and school at the same time?
Yes, so 3 days every week is at school, and then 2 days a week is at work or at TAFE, depending on when my classes at TAFE are. So it's more or less an alternating pattern of every first week I do 2 days at work, and every second week 2 days at TAFE. So I get my days on the job and get all my theory done for my apprenticeship as well. And I'm still doing that while I'm at school.
And so once you finish grade 12, what's your pathway then? Are you finished your apprenticeship, or there's more to go?
So, because I'm only doing a part-time apprenticeship in year 11 and 12, that only kind of counts for 1 year. So when I finish year 12, I'll just go into my apprenticeship full-time, which includes more on-the-job work and more TAFE theory.
Now that's a big plate you've got a lot of stuff happening. Something's got to give. So has some of your subjects dropped? Are you doing less subjects than, say, Mia? Mia was doing 4 every year. Are you doing 4 test subjects, or how does that work when you do an apprenticeship as well as school?
Yeah, so you talk about biting off more than I can chew. I am only doing 3 subjects this year instead of 4 or 5, which would be the normal for a year 11 and 12 student, which kind of helps with the workload. Yeah, I've actually been really happy here at Calvin, and that's kind of one of the reasons I chose to stay at a small school. Was there's, you know, the smaller classes, and the teachers are very willing to help you. They're willing to kind of go out of their way to adjust courses slightly or help catch me up on whatever I might have missed. So the teachers have been very helpful and supportive in helping me still get all the work and understanding I need from my classes, even though I'm not here probably as much as what I need to be.
So you've got quite a different pathway, Mia. Were you always thinking that university was going to be your destination, or were you...
Yeah, I think definitely, even like when I was in primary school, I was definitely still set on the whole medical field. So
yeah,
I think that's been good for me, just being able to pick my subjects based around that. But I know for many other people it's not as easy. But I've kept my options open, so it's easy to change my mind. So I think I've definitely been looking at like the UTAS website since like last year in year 11, and that looking at the course content, I just thought Carrum Medicine would be a lot more interesting.
Okay, so Mia and Joe, you've both chosen to stay at Calvin for grade 11 and 12, which has been so awesome. Can you just share with us about, I guess, what made you choose Calvin to do your senior schooling, and what benefits you've seen from staying at Calvin in your chosen pathways, because they've been quite different. Joe?
I've actually been very happy with my choice to stay at Calvin, and I guess the biggest thing for me is how flexible all the teachers have been. If I've needed help with something or need to talk to someone to get something organised, there's always someone there who's willing to help me and willing to work with me to sort things out. So obviously doing an apprenticeship and 2 task 3 and 1 task 4 subject is not a very normal kind of situation, and it's been great having teachers and management who's really willing to help with me to get that all sorted and make it happen.
Awesome. Mia?
I've really loved the small class sizes. I just think that the teachers are able to pick up more if you're struggling, if you need help. And I love, like, in year 12, it's really stressful having to find out how to apply for uni and, like, all this stuff that you've never done before. And I've appreciated you being the new, like, pathways coordinator, like, organising the UTAS lady to come and just, yeah, they really make more of an effort to make sure you feel comfortable.
It was great to hear some student voices. So, Stell, what opportunities do you see that Calvin offers?
So, Scott, at Calvin, we work to really get to know our students. We want our students to feel a sense of belonging in our school. And the opportunities that we offer are centred around what the students are particularly interested in, and giving them a chance to experience learning, sometimes in a bit of a different form to what they might be used to in high school. We start the year with a camp where we spend some time together in community, getting to know each other, talking about leadership in the school and opportunities that might be available in that place. And also throughout the year, we have a number of opportunities available for students. For example, we have a leadership group, which is our student council, and they are involved every year in running activities and in taking up that really important job of representing our students. In addition to that, there is flexibility that we offer to our year 11 and 12 students. They might have some time where they can either be studying in our library or off campus. They have a common room and some space that is set aside just for them to be able to spend time at school, both learning and also in community with each other.
Thank you. Bonnie, do you have anything to add in terms of those opportunities?
So in their studies, we have a lot of opportunities for students as well. We offer a wide range of subjects here at Calvin. In fact, close to 50 different subjects that students can choose for year 11 and 12. And these range from your traditional academic subjects in the English, the maths, science, in the health and physical education areas. Outdoor education is quite popular with our students as well. And
a number of subjects that are maybe perhaps out of the box for some students, such as psychology, working with children, environmental science, and a number of other subjects too. As well as this, as I mentioned before, we have relatively small class sizes, meaning that students can feel known by their teachers and by each other, and there's that accountability too that I did mention earlier. We also have a range of co-curricular options for students, both as part of our formal school week and outside of that, so in the sporting and artistic and musical areas, and different competitions and so on as well. So I do think we have a lot to offer students in Year 11 and 12.
Thanks, Bonnie. What sort of work is Calvin doing around pathway planning for students?
Yeah, it's a really important area of work with a lot of focus at the moment, where we acknowledge students have different pathways into to the work and study avenues. So our Year 10 students will spend some time with our Pathways Coordinator, and they will talk about what they want to achieve in their school year as well as beyond, some of their skills and interests and aptitudes, and try to develop a pathway that would work for them in terms of their subject choice and also preparation for university or for further study or career. And that conversation with the Pathways Coordinator continues in Year 11 and 12 as needed, and there is a lot of support for university entrance as well as other things that might need some assistance through that time. So I do feel that we support our students through that process really well.
Thank you. So thank you for being part of our information evening. We trust that you've learned something about Calvin Christian School and about what we have to offer. There are incredible opportunities for your young person as they chart this journey through Years 11 and 12, and we'd enjoy being part of that with you. You may have more questions that perhaps haven't been answered tonight, or you might be interested in coming and having a tour of our school facilities. We would encourage you to get in touch with us, and that might be through our Discover Calvin event, which is coming up, or alternatively, you might like to make a time to come and see us directly. We're looking forward to sharing more with you about what it means to be a student at Calvin Christian School, about the opportunities that we can offer, and ways that we can support your young person through those vital years of 11 and 12 as they look towards building an incredible future for themselves. We believe that a Christian education prepares a student with their heart and their mind and their hands for a future that is both exciting and filled with the incredible potential of God. So again, we'd encourage you to be in touch. Thank you for being part of our time together, and we look forward to connecting again.